Hey guys, it's Chris Parsons here with InSync Systems. I wanted to make a quick video kind of going over drip campaigns and how you can really leverage them in your real estate business. And a lot of times I get agents asking, what's the structure of a good drip campaign and really what's the goal and how can you incorporate it into your daily life? And, this question comes up a lot because you'll have agents, they'll have thousands of leads just sitting in an Excel file, or maybe it's even in their CRM, and they know that they can do something with this information, but they don't necessarily know how, and they really just want a guided plan on how to make the most of it. It's funny, we had some old Zillow leads, about 2,000 of them on a spreadsheet, anywhere from 1 month old to 2 years old. And so we just decided to put them into our CRM. I have a few drip campaigns and action plans pre-made, and we wanted to see what would happen. And the numbers were actually pretty startling. So from 2,000 leads that really weren't doing anything, I mean, they were called once or twice to try to get that low-hanging fruit, as most agents do. But then they just kind of put this information on the shelf and never touch it again and consider it a loss, a cost of business. But yeah, so we ran this campaign on all these contacts, and we actually created 15 more in-person meetings just from a bunch of data that was sitting there. So guys, drip campaigns can be very powerful if you know how to use them, and I'm going to help you kind of create some, understand the basic structure, as well as give you a few pro tips on how you can make technology work the most for you, get you the most appointments, while really utilizing drip campaigns. So let's just get started here. I'm going to close that screen. All right, so to start off, a drip campaign, what's its basic structure, or really what's its goal? And, a lot of agents, they forget that the whole point of a drip campaign is to start a conversation. You're never going to get a buyer to sign a buyer's contract from an email, and you're certainly not going to win a listing appointment from an email. The best that you're going to do is create a conversation, get a phone call started that's not completely cold, or maybe even get a cup of coffee with the potential prospect. You can't expect too much of that, and that's where most agents go wrong. And something else that's important is there is a basic structure to action or drip campaigns. You have to understand how a relationship starts and really how you build it, and how you eventually get that person to trust you enough to actually meet in person so they can really discern what their needs are and what they're having struggles with within the home buying or selling process. So just to start us off, I recommend that every single drip campaign start with one acknowledgement email. So what's an acknowledgement email? People want to know who you are, where you came from, why you're reaching out, what's the context of the relationship in the beginning, or how you even know this person. And you're going to put it all out there. And you really have to be clear, and you have to be honest with what you're trying to say and accomplish with these emails, because if they're not interested in hearing any of the information, then hopefully they're just going to unsubscribe or get off the list, and you can focus on who actually matters, because really they were never going to buy in the first place anyway. So yeah, acknowledgement, at least one. That can be as simple as, hey, it's Chris. I realize we haven't talked in a while, and I want to reach out and see how things are going and see if there's anything I can help. Thanks. And that can literally be your first email. Try to fine tune it a little bit, but really that's the basic gist. Next up is position emails. So now these people know who you are, and you have acknowledged your existence in their inbox and why that's even there. Well, now you need to position yourself to really concrete your reasoning for being there. And the way you're going to do that is by showing that you're the absolute authority in your area for your specific niche. I recommend maybe 2 to 4 positioning emails before you head into the nurture. And again, the goal is just to show them that you know what you're doing and you have an established business and you know how to help them. And sometimes you get a few conversations from these positioning emails. Sometimes you won't, but that's okay too. Just this is the structure. So you have your acknowledgement email, now you have your few positioning emails, And last up is the nurture. So after you've worked through those positioning emails, and these leads know who you are, they know why you've reached out, and they haven't unsubscribed, so they're at least somewhat interested in receiving information about either the housing market and how that's doing, or maybe how different Fed rates are changing, whatever. They're interested in it. So now you're going to get into the nurture. And this is for the long haul. This is something that they're going to get every once in a while, maybe once every 3 weeks, every 21 days, and it's just enough to keep your name on top of their mind. Again, you're not going to get a listing agreement from an email. You're going to get a conversation from an email. Just the same as you're not going to get a buyer's agreement from an email. You're going to get a conversation. So keep that in mind. Some really great tips is if you have a website, try to incorporate that into your nurture email. You want to get them back on the website so you can see their activity and what they're interested in. And the last thing you want to do is put them back on Zillow. Zillow is good at what they do. They're really good at attracting those home buyers who are just getting started in the process. But once a lead goes back to Zillow and they're not on your website, they're now in front of all of your competitors, and they're probably going to fill out another lead form, and Zillow's just going to sell their information to someone else. So keep them off of Zillow. You want them on your website. Also, something that you really should look into is how can you integrate your web activity into your CRM. Sometimes websites have a CRM that they include, like Real Geeks has a CRM, Sierra Interactive has a CRM, Boomtown has a CRM. They also have a front-end website. If you have, let's just say you have a different CRM than you do a website provider, see how you can integrate those different actions within the website to show up in your CRM so you can make more informed decisions and you have a better idea of what your leads are doing, and it's all in one place. Because really the last thing you want to do is be jumping around from screen to screen. That's just kind of a waste of time. You're going to get frustrated and you're going to get fatigued quicker because you just got more to do. It's not in one place. Also include call to actions. You're going to have to plan out these drip campaigns, especially the nurture portions of them. This is going to be an ongoing process. So try to get them to maybe subscribe to your newsletter that's different than this drip campaign. It includes more pertinent information, more focused. Try to invite them to social events utilizing Facebook and Eventbrite. And that can include things like a free home buying workshop or meeting some lenders or some professionals, anything. Just get creative and do something different. And you can also try to add them to listing alerts. Now, oftentimes your website will do this automatically, so that's why it's really important to get them off of Zillow onto your website exclusively. And lastly, keep providing value that is consistent and authentic. They've allowed you into their inbox, so make your time worth it. Make their time worth it. You're a professional and there's a reason you've been reaching out to them. Let them know why and let them understand who you are. So some important points. CRMs people get freaked out about because it's technology. But really, CRMs are actually pretty basic. If you just have a very fundamental understanding of how your CRM works, be it LionsDesk, Follow Up Boss, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, whatever, just know how it works, and also make sure you understand how you can build out these drip campaigns within the CRM to save you a lot of time and hassle. You can plan things so it'll send an email on this date. 3 days later, it'll send your positioning emails. And then every 3 weeks, it'll send your nurture content. So you don't have to do that. Imagine trying to drip on 2,000 people manually like I just did. That would take forever. It would honestly be a full-time job. And now my CRM is just creating appointments from past leads by itself. I'm not doing that. I've already done all the work to pre-plan it, and I recommend you do the same. Again, be consistent and check in. Email drip campaign works really, really well, but you can't rely on it. It's about 40% of the work. Once you get those conversations started and you find out, who's interested, who's raising their hand and they want help, you have to be the person to call or text and get that conversation really started. Get that appointment going. Get that listing agreement signed. But you have to be present to make that happen. And also consistency. So you probably heard this statistic before, but it's actually pretty insane. 80% of agents will stop following up after the third attempt. So that can include they'll get the lead from Zillow and they'll give them a call immediately. No answer, so maybe they'll send a text. Maybe like an hour and a half later, no answer, so they'll send an email. And if they don't hear anything, well, that's the end of it. And because they don't have drip campaigns set up and pre-planned, these people never get talked to again. It's really just wasted money. The most expensive lead is the one that doesn't convert. And it's amazing because 90% of conversions happen after the fourth contact, usually between the fourth and the 12th time of contact. That's when the conversion happens. So you look at these numbers and it's like majority of your competition is just leaving money on the table because they didn't think ahead enough and they didn't spend the time to just learn their CRM for a little bit. I mean, seriously, it'll take like 2 hours and you can start generating appointments like I just did, 15 from dead information. Obviously not that dead. And then lastly, a little pro tip, make sure you add scheduled tasks and follow-up actions into your action plans if you can. A lot of CRMs, they kind of combined follow-up and drip emails. I know they're kind of the same, they really are, but imagine if your drip email campaign also incorporated behaviors that you can take care of. It assigns tasks automatically to remind you of the things that you have to do. So, on the 5th day of them starting this email campaign, you find that, yeah, it makes sense to at least shoot a personal text if they haven't subscribed, and that increases your conversion rate. Well, then start making that a task that's automatically added to your task list when a person is put onto the action plan. And really think about that, not just how can you send one text or one call, but I mean like, how can you include calling and texting into your follow-up plan? If you do these quick things, you will never have to buy leads again. and all those agents in your office that do buy leads and they give up after the second attempt, hell, just take their content, throw it into your CRM, see what happens. You'll probably generate a few appointments from it for free. Yeah, guys, I hope this helps. Let me know if you need anything. If there's any questions that you have, just leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to help. Thanks.